fled in that direction. I should be able to find a way in. I have already passed by the Église Sainte-Marie. I can get back there quickly from here.
Happy birthday, my sweet daughter.
I can't believe it. The dancer you promised me. She's magnificent. You're the best papa ever.
Alors, tell me, will you give her a name?
This coat of arms. It's from the Bastille. It would appear that Monsieur Lavoisier's gunpowder was taken to the Bastille. Some worshippers were able to escape the automats. They ran towards the entrance to the catacombs. Here I am at an impasse. Should I go to the Tuileries to examine the safe? There may be a way to force it open. I can get to the Tuileries Palace via the Louvre. Then I should be able to enter it through the courtyard. The lock wasn't forced. Whoever opened it had the key. Monsieur Necker's bonds are still there. There's something engraved on it. H.G. Riquetti. Comte de Mirabeau. Whoever broke into this safe left behind the most valuable thing in it. This doesn't make sense. have just come from the Tuileries. The Armoire de Fer has been ransacked.
Diable. Someone beat us to it. This is very unfortunate. God only knows what we would have found there.
Whoever it was had to fight for it. I found a body there, killed by automats.
Mon Dieu. How dreadful.
Dreadful indeed. Especially since I discovered this in the victim's hand.
And what is that, pray tell?
A dueling pistol. With your name engraved on its plate.
Oh, May we? You're right. It is my pistol. It was stolen along with a number of other things. It happened just before the Estates General at my lodgings in Versailles. But how on earth did my weapon end up in the hands of this poor soul?
I am certain we will find an explanation. I'm going to have a look around. With your permission, of course.
Well, since I'm in no position to dissuade you...
You appear to have burnt these papers in a hurry. I'm eager to hear your explanation.
It's nothing at all, I assure you. Frivolous letters that were cluttering my desk.
I find your defense unconvincing. Why won't you tell me the truth?
You don't understand. This is a matter of the utmost importance that I cannot discuss with a creature such as yourself.
I am an automat, monsieur. This is true, but I serve the Queen. And my only aim is to put a stop to the crimes that have befallen the kingdom.
Well, know that you're not alone in serving the Queen.
What was in those letters you threw into the fire?
My private correspondence with the King. I had a key to the armoire, which served as a mailbox.
Are you conspiring with the King?
No, you don't understand. I was something of a shadow advisor, a diplomat, working in complete discretion. I feared his stubbornness would lead the kingdom to ruin, so I tried to reassure him regarding the aims of the Third Estate. But when Vaucanson told me what happened at Meudon, I realized it was a lost cause.
You claim to be a friend of the Queen.
The King has gone insane. After what happened at Meudon, that much is clear. We can no longer expect any leniency from him. Hence my support for his wife. She's a headstrong woman, and much wiser than she lets on. You must know that she means to put her youngest on the throne, the young prince, Louis Charles. A regency would restore peace and unity to the kingdom. Then all that would remain would be to establish a constitution. I have the support of the people. They trust me. I'm the only one that can bring about these reforms.
I found your pistol in the hands of a dead man. Who was this unfortunate soul?
Mathieu, one of the servants I had sent to retrieve the letters. I gave him the pistol for self-defense. Alas, it seems it was of little use to him against the King's automats.
Tell me, what happened at Meudon?
It's all here in this letter, written in the King's own hand. Please, give it to the Queen. She must learn the truth.
Why were you in such a hurry to destroy your correspondence?
The letters contained sensitive information about my Third Estate colleagues. If it had gotten out, I would have surely lost my allies' trust, as well as any hope of establishing a regency along with it.
you monster. What do you want with me? Wasn't it enough for you to steal my dancer?
I'm merely obeying the king, mademoiselle. Don't be afraid. You and your beloved machine will soon be reunited. I give you my word. Voila, here we are. Do you see that window? That's where she's waiting for you. Sale petite peste! I suggest you don't try that again.
Atanias, what could have happened to her in this workshop? No, that does not work. There must be something missing. Monsieur Necker.
Madame? Eh bien, do you come bearing good news?
Your wife. You may rest easy, monsieur. Your wife escaped the massacre. She returned home and left you this letter.
Mon Dieu. She's going to meet our daughter and son-in-law at our charity hospital.
She may already be there.
Madame, I did not dare to dream of such an outcome. My wife and daughter. Can you imagine? And I thought I had lost both of them. The three of us will be able to leave the kingdom and put these horrors behind us forever.
What about the bonds?
Oh, the bonds. Do with them as you see fit. As long as the king does not use them. As for me, I'm going to find my family at once. Thank you. From the bottom of my heart. I pray that your efforts will be successful. Adieu, madame. Adieu.
Minister Necker has given his bonds to me.
That's quite a nice little sum. Can you imagine? That's 1/5 of the kingdom's entire wealth.
Wealth that the king squanders for his personal benefit according to his whims.
Ma foi.
Monsieur Necker certainly has been very generous to his adoptive country.
Generous? I have my doubts. The loan was granted at a very high rate. So high, in fact, that it would have dug the deficit into an even deeper state of abyss.
Eh bien, monsieur. To what use shall we employ this boonful fortune?
If I could spend it, I'd do everything I could to return to the people their confiscated freedom. To begin, I would get them the bread they so sorely need. It is only after the scourge of famine has been vanquished that armed patriots might then be able to rise up against despotism.
And where will you find wheat, Robespierre? Will you steal it from under the noses of the automats who have sworn to destroy the human race? As for arming the people, this is another one of your delusions. How could your ragged pack of wretches win any sort of battle that'd be unable to lift a sword?
When you insult the people, you insult me, Monsieur de Lafayette.
I am not insulting anyone, Robespierre. But I happen to know what it takes to fight. Unlike you. Monsieur, I was but a lad of 15 when I took up arms. and everyone here knows my role in the liberation of America from British rule. If you allow me to dispose of these bonds, I will found an army that will annihilate the Clockwork King's diabolical machines. As soon as I have the opportunity to leave Paris, I will rally the officers and troops that are stationed in the provinces. Then, I will call for a mass uprising. I will have more than enough money to pay their wages and procure the weapons we need.
And you will have obedient troops at your beck and call, ready to repress anyone who challenges your power.
These troops will only serve the will of the people. I swear it.
Are you sure that the king has spared the rest of the kingdom, Monsieur le Marquis?
I am almost certain of it, mon père. Despite all of his resources, the king does not have enough manpower to occupy all the garrisons in the country.
Aegis, no member of this assembly can force your hand. The choice is yours. To whom will you entrust Monsieur Necker's bonds?
General de Lafayette, I have decided to use these bonds for your cause. I urge you to put them to good use.
You've made the right choice, Dancer. Only professional soldiers and well-trained conscripts stand a chance of winning back the kingdom.
And of course, the people will have to kneel before their liberators. History will recall that sad day when we had to put our fate in the hands of an automat. If only her creator had given her a heart. Alas, she could not help but be blind to the people's misfortune.
Aegis, a word, s'il vous plaît.
Monsieur Raymond.
Aegis, we are very pleased to see you again. It was very unwise of us to leave the Société without such a capable bodyguard as yourself. It is a miracle that we got here safely.
What do you want to talk to me about?
Have you ever heard of the Club de Massiac, Aegis?
No, monsieur.
It's an association that meets at the Hotel de Massiac, just west of Les Halles. It counts some of the wealthiest plantation owners in the Empire. Those from Saint-Domingue and the Petite Santilles, our most formidable adversaries. They are waging a war of influence to keep the slave trade going, and resort to the vilest methods to achieve their ends. They worship nothing but money. Their greed is matched only by their cruelty. Regrettably, my interests occasionally require me to suffer their company. 2 months ago, I was in Le Havre to settle some business with the Admiralty, when I overheard a conversation between 2 planters from Bastère. If they are to be believed, the Club de Massiac is plotting to create sleepless slaves, des esclaves sans sommeil. Those were their exact words. It's hard to say what this could possibly mean, but I fear they plan to administer some foul drug to their slaves to force them to toil day and night, without rest. Our organization will not let these poor souls endure such a hell. Aegis, we must look into this. It is a matter of great urgency.
You speak of greed, Monsieur Raymond. But could you enlighten us as to what makes you any different from the planters you condemn?
What exactly do you accuse me of, Monsieur de Robespierre? S'il vous plaît, do tell.
Do you not also exploit the labor of these poor souls yourself on your indigo plantation?
I fight every minute of every day to improve their condition. No one would have the audacity to deny this.
If that's the case, then why wait? Free them. You preach abolition, yet you continue to line your pockets at their expense. The truth is, you refuse to upend the established colonial order because your entire fortune depends on it.
It's easy to criticize from atop Mount Olympus, Maximilian. You know nothing of the realities of Saint-Domingue. What would happen to all these people if I freed them tomorrow? Without an education, without a livelihood, I would be condemning them to the most abject misery. No. I must act with both compassion and realism.
Any reform, revolutionary or not, must be taken step by step, with moderation and prudence.
This reform is not so difficult. I've begun it myself at La Belle Gabrielle, my plantation in Guyane. There you will not find slaves, but workers who earn a weekly wage. And my plantation is no less profitable.
Ah, yes, profit. Because that's the most important thing. Don't you see, the law of nature gives every man the right to cultivate his own land.
Monsieur, calm yourselves. I implore you. Now is no time to quarrel. What Monsieur Raymond has related to us is extremely worrying. We must find out more about this plot to create sleepless slaves as quickly as possible. Aegis, you are the only one who stands a chance of making it to the Hôtel de Massiac alive.
Monsieur de Mirabeau, what does this letter mean?
Who gave you the right to read my correspondence?
I'm curious about how you got rid of it earlier. As if it burned your fingers.
To tell you the truth, you're not entirely wrong. It is a missive sent by my father, the Marquis de Mirabeau, the scoundrel who shamelessly dares to call himself the friend of man. He writes to say that he is on the brink of death, in such a desperate state that he has received extreme unction. This reprobate used his final moments on this mortal plane to send me threats yet again. He swears that he will torment me from beyond the grave.
How is that possible?
To my knowledge, he has not yet deigned to shuffle off this mortal coil. In any case, the satisfaction of knowing he is dead would not assuage my concern. This man is more persistent than the plague. He's capable of anything. He has spent his entire life persecuting his family. And I believe he is ready to spend his eternal rest continuing to do the same. I need to know what he's planning.
Where is he now?
At his home in Argenteuil. Given the circumstances, going to ask him for an explanation is out of the question. But the man who heard his final confession is here.
Monseigneur de la Fare.
Precisely. Only this confounded shaveling refuses to tell me a word of what the old dragon confided to him. He stubbornly insists on the secrecy of confession. Bon sang. Will we ever be rid of these damned superstitions? Aegis, would you be so kind as to intercede with the bishop? Perhaps you will be able to make him change his mind.
Eh bien. Do you come bearing news from Monsieur Marat?
No, not yet.
I have it on good authority that he is in the quarries in Montmartre. He's the only person who could show you a way to reach the Bastille. Don't forget.
Goodbye, Monsieur de Rob.
Have you located Athanasius' hiding place?
No, not yet.
Look carefully. Remember, it's on the edge of the garden, between two statues, hidden amongst the plants.
Goodbye, Monsieur Lavoisier.
What can I do for you, Aegis?
The clues I found at the warehouse suggest that the gunpowder was moved to the Bastille.
Diable! You must find a way to get there and put an end to this threat.
Goodbye, Monsieur Lavoisier. My respects, Monseigneur.
I didn't expect to see you again so soon, Aegis. We missed you when we had to leave our shelter at Place Saint-Merry. The path that led us to this convent was not an easy one, believe me.
Monseigneur, I would like to talk to you about your recent meeting with the Marquis de Mirabeau.
What has gotten into all of you? This has gone on long enough. I will say it one last time and pray that they will finally leave me alone. Nothing and no one will make me violate the secrecy of his confession. Have I made myself clear?
Perfectly clear, Monseigneur.
Aegis, I'd like to talk to you about my research. Do you have a few moments to spare for me?
Certainly, mon père. I am listening.
I've carefully collected the testimony of our companions here. Then I compared them with the observations made during my investigation of the man who calls himself Cagliostro. I came to quite the shocking conclusion. I believe I have discovered how the royal automats remain constantly in motion, like clocks that never need winding. They get their energy from the souls of the dead, Aegis. They drink from the anima essence that permeates the purgatory described by Monseigneur de la Fare. These machines feed on the dead. The greater the massacre, the deeper the river where they slake their thirst.
Is there any way to stop the bloodshed, mon père?
I believe there is always hope, Aegis. As long as I remain free to pursue my research, I will never lose faith. I keep thinking about the three Nemes. These echoes. All of this is clearly related to Nicholas Flamel's work.
The alchemist?
Precisely, mon ami. And this leads me to fear the worst.
What have we to fear from an alchemist who died nearly 4 centuries ago?
Not him, per se. Rather, the heretic who is exploiting his discoveries. This poses a grave danger to us all.
What do you fear, mon père?
What do I fear? Nearly 2 months ago, the king forbade anyone from setting foot inside the Église Saint-Jacques de la Boucherie, near the Hôtel de Ville. He had the priests forcibly removed. They hardly even had time to save the church's sacred relics. Since then, only our Father in Heaven knows what they've been doing there, hidden away from the people of Paris.
Mon Dieu. Flamel's tomb.
My thoughts exactly, Monseigneur. Legend has it that Flamel was buried with his lapis philosophorum.
What is the lapis philosophorum, mon père?
The Philosopher's Stone. Where do I begin? No one knows its true nature, or even what it might look like. All that is known is that it is said to grant untold riches and eternal life to whoever possesses it. Its very existence is questioned, of course. But if it's true, just imagine what sinister purpose the king and his accomplices might find for it. We must elucidate this matter at any cost.
Where is this tomb?
In the church's crypt. The priests always ensured that it remained undisturbed, despite the mystery surrounding it. But now they're no longer there to protect it. We need to know for certain.
But how? There are automats everywhere.
Aegis,
Oui, mon père.
will you help us get to the bottom of this?
Did you not say that it was impossible to enter the church?
There is perhaps a solution. The penitent's door behind the Châtelet leads to the Quartier de l'Hôtel de Ville. It's only opened on Good Friday, but this year, I had the honor and good fortune to lead the procession. Here is the key.
Goodbye, mon père. Monsieur de Mirabeau. Alas, the bishop stubbornly refused to reveal anything.
Damn it. I need to know what my rogue of a father is up to. Let me think. In light of the cartload of threats he sent me, it's safe to wager that my sister and mother received similar letters. They may even have already suffered his revenge. However, my sister lives in Grasse in the south of France. Unless a messenger rode 100 horses to death, she could not have received this letter. Then there is my poor mother.
If you ask me, I will go to find her.
Yes, it's very kind of you to offer. But I couldn't even tell you where she is staying.
Your own mother?
Indeed. It's a very embarrassing matter. A secret, which I beg you not to divulge.
I can be discreet. Rest assured.
Very well. You should know that my mother, the Countess of Covey, has lost everything. Truly. First her fortune, then her faculties. No matter what I tried, nothing could prevent her decline. It is said that she is now living on charity, in the most abject poverty in the slums of the Marais. If perchance your past takes you to this dreadful place, and if she still remembers who she is, perhaps you may meet her.
Athenaios' hiding place. A fight took place here. Franciscus Antonius. What unusual names. Whose cane could this be? Perhaps the guests at the Cordelier can enlighten me. Monsieur le Marquis.
I'm listening, Aegis.
Franciscus Antonius. Do these names mean anything specific to you?
Francois Antoine. Hold on. Of course. That's the master arquebusier who killed the beast of Gévaudan. The affair took place during the reign of Louis the Beloved, just a few leagues from the castle where I grew up. I was still a young boy, but I remember it like it was yesterday. It caused a stir all over the country.
I doubt that it has anything to do with my case.
I don't know. I'll let you be the judge of that.
How is your research on Nicholas Flamel going?
I have done nothing yet.
Don't take too long, Aegis. Don't forget that the tomb is in the crypt of the Église Saint-Jacques de la Boucherie, under the cemetery. The church isn't far from the Hôtel de Ville.
Franciscus Antonius. Does that mean anything to you?
Let's see. Francois Antoine. No, that doesn't mean anything to me, I'm afraid. Désolé, ma chère.
Goodbye,
Have you found my mother?
No, not yet.
Remember, rumor has it she lives in the slums of the Marais, in the shadow of the Bastille.
I found a broken cane. It says Franciscus Antonius on it. Do you know who it belongs to?
Well, I never. Yes, I know the owner. And I'm willing to bet you're looking for a certain Francois Antoine.
That's right.
Well, you'd need to look a little further east, mademoiselle. Across the Rhine, for a start. Because this cane belongs, or belonged, to a certain Franz Anton Mesmer.
Mesmer, the prince of charlatans.
Good heavens, it's been a long time since I've heard his name.
5 years to be exact since your learned commission denounced his theories.
It wasn't long after that when he disappeared.
Can you tell me more about Mesmer?
He was a mystical healer who was once popular with the upper class. I myself attended several of his sessions.
You mentioned a commission.
The king did not look kindly on the healer's popularity within the court. This led him to appoint a commission from the Royal Academy of Sciences.
An institution to which Monsieur Bailly and I have the honor to belong. We were asked to investigate his alleged powers.
The experiments that we performed allowed us to determine that Monsieur Mesmer's activities were pure charlatanism, a conclusion that destroyed his successful career the moment it was published.
But there was something, Sylvain. A tiny flow of energy that my devices were able to measure.
My dear colleague, must I remind you again that we were never able to reproduce your observations? It was obviously a momentary failure of your equipment.
Perhaps. I'd like to be sure of it.
When and how did Monsieur Mesmer disappear?
The denunciation of his techniques was the start of a long descent into hell for Monsieur Mesmer. He was abandoned by his clients and resumed his research in virtual secrecy. I think he was hoping to perfect his so-called science and restore his reputation with the Academy.
A hope that led him to associate himself with that dastardly Cagliostro. God only knows what experiments they may have carried out. In any case, their collaboration did not last long. Monsieur Mesmer left the kingdom overnight to return to his mother country.
Why did he leave so quickly?
That is a mystery. But those who saw him that morning say it was as if he had the devil at his heels.
This is true. He left in such a hurry that he abandoned everything he owned. Furniture, belongings, and scientific equipment. And it seems that Cagliostro has inherited this treasure.
Is that so? Well, if what you say is true, that broken cane must have passed into the Count's hands.
Yes, it's likely.
This adventurer from who knows where is quite the mysterious character. And he has been very busy recently. I've been able to observe him from my apartments, making frequent visits to Rue Saint-Honoré, on the Tuileries side. I wonder what he was doing there.
What were Monsieur Mesmer's theories?
He is a proponent of a theory called animal magnetism. He claimed to be able to channel a purported universal healing fluid by passing his hands over patients and using magnets.
He also cobbled together a whole array of mad devices, each stranger than the last. Unfortunately, despite all his attempts, I don't know that he ever cured anyone.
What happened during Monsieur Mesmer's treatment sessions?
Oh, they were quite a spectacle to behold. Imagine well-born ladies afflicted with perfectly imaginary illnesses. A dimly lit room where incense has been burned to intoxicate the soul and cloud your vision. Amiable servants, half-dressed, gliding from countess to duchess to the sound of a sensual melody. And the great Mesmer, a doctor with wandering hands, presiding over the wonderful scene. Oh, you should have seen them. Those grand ladies moaning, crying, and falling into a swoon, clinging to that strange tub. Du théâtre, ma chère. Pure theater.